Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans, all 5,000 of you. Yes, we made 5,000 subscribers, actually 5,002. Wow, what a journey, y'all. What a journey. It took 3 years, but it's organically done. I didn't pay for any promotions. Half the time I kept forgetting to say subscribe to this YouTube channel. No matter how much I wanted to say it, I just would dive into the recap, but we did it. We did it. And I want to thank all of you, those of you who have subscribed to this YouTube channel. Ah, what an accomplishment. You think someone in their mid 60s can start just reaching milestones. When you're having fun, everybody, you reach the goals that you want to reach. Part time, in your house coat in the wintertime, the comfort of your home, through sickness and health for me. So, anyway, everybody, I want to thank you for that. Let's dive right into the GH recap. Not a whole lot happened, but some key movement did. Dante, oh yeah, gonna blast Brook Lynn for what she did to Rocco. And Michael actually came into the living room and Brook Lynn was crying, looking out the window. And he goes, Brook Lynn, is everything okay? And she's like, look, it's all right. It's all right, Michael. I'm gonna give you the room. And then Dante comes in blasting her about what the heck she did to his son. And Michael was like, what's happening here? And Dante said, oh, yeah, yeah. She intentionally tried to hurt Rocco by digging up some information on Britt Westbourne. And Lulu's still just standing there, right? And he says, he made a remark about when she gave up Geo, you know, and then to try to hurt his son. And when he mentioned you gave up our son Geo and then you try to hurt our son, and Michael was like, oh, that's enough, Dante. That's enough. You will not talk to Brook Lynn this way. And he's in his brother's face, right? He said, it is hard enough to have to give up a child. See, Michael's talking about himself, really. He says, you don't know how Brook Lynn felt having to give up her child for adoption all those years ago. And Dante looked at him. He goes, you're right. I don't know. And I was out of line with that statement. However, and so Brooklyn, Brooklyn says, Michael, please listen. Thank you so much for standing up for me. She says, however, Dante and I, she's crying, right? She's wiping her tears away. Dante and I, we need to talk this out and try to work this out on our own. So Michael looked at her and he goes, you sure? And she's like, yeah. So Michael is walking by Dante looking at him like, right? And Dante just looks at him walking by, right? And so she says, okay, Dante, it's just me and it's you. Let me have it. I deserve it. So he does. He lays into her. You were so bent on getting back at Lulu that you used our son to do it. That's what I can't get past. And he says, and you know what? I was out of line with what I said to Gio about you giving up Gio. I want you to know that. However, my son is out there hurting now because he's questioning whether his parents even wanted him. And so she says, Dante, that is not what I meant to happen. Yes. Did I look up information on Britt Westbourne? Yes. Did I want to hurt Lulu the way Lulu hurt me? Yes. But in the end, I couldn't go through with it. I did not give Rocco that file. That file was under a bunch of deception files. And somehow Danny found it and gave it to Rocco. And Dante said, what did you think was going to happen? This is a public uh, house. A lot of people go in and out this house. On top of the fact that my son Rocco lives in this house. And you left the file out in the open, Brooklyn. Doesn't matter that it was under some other, you left the file in the open because you really did want him to see it. I had changed my mind. I actually had no idea he did see it. You know, and so Dante says, you know what? I I have no words about how I feel about what you did to my son. Okay, I can't get over that. He said, however, the issue with our son Gio, we have to figure out a way to reach him. And she said, well, now he hates me more than ever because he feels I intentionally set out to hurt his brother. And she said, look at the bright side, Dante. Now I'm the worst of the worst. You have a better shot with Gio now. And Dante looked at her and he says, no, Brooklyn, we have to try to reach our son together. We have to, make steps forward with him together. And he says, and that, I'm with you 100% on. And do you know he actually stepped to her and hugged her? Now, Lulu would have a fit if she saw that, you know? But Lulu should understand that because she'll tell you, no, no, hey, Charlotte, only I have a say in what happens to Charlotte, not you. Charlotte ain't yours. Only you and I rock up. That's it. So she'll understand, okay, you and I, Lulu would rock with Rocco, but Lulu and I are going to try to get in our son Gio's life. But anyway, Tracy caught Chase at the boathouse. He got in from work and he went for a swim in the lake. And she was telling him, for one, I think she said his backstroke needed some help. But anyway, she says, your wife is getting ready to spiral down a path. And he goes, what are you talking about? She goes, a path of vengeance. She says, Brooklyn and I are a lot alike. More than either of us would even like to admit. And I'm going to tell you, if someone had done to me what Lulu did to Brook Lynn years ago, the only thing I would be thinking about is revenge. And she says, Chase, this side of Brooklyn, you don't know. Brooklyn is very calculating. And Brooklyn is very vengeful. And she will plot a course to destroy Lulu. And he goes, because of what Lulu did. No, she goes, because of what Lulu did to her and Gio. And Chase says, yeah. And what she did to her and her and Gio was completely wrong. And I'm with Brooklyn on that. And Tracy looked at Chase. She said, because it wasn't just how it came out, it's the months of tormenting Brook Lynn and hanging it over her head, taunting her with this information. That's what Lulu did. She says, now, ultimately, I'm happy she now knows her son is Gio. She always wondered. I'm happy now Gio knows he has parents. He says, but that wasn't for Lulu to let out the way she did. That wasn't for her to even let that information out. That should have been Lulu and that should have been Dante. So he's like, it's Lulu's. And she goes, so are you saying you'd be behind Brook Lynn for revenge against Lulu? She goes, Chase, that's not the way. And he just looked at Tracy. She goes, I love both of those girls. I love them both dearly. And I know this will destroy them. This will destroy people around them. And I need you to talk to Brook Lynn and get her to see that that's not the way to go. Now, you know what pissed me off about Tracy? Brook Lynn is your granddaughter, Tracy. Brook Lynn. Brook Lynn was the one that got hurt. Brook Lynn. You didn't so much as scold Lulu when the truth came out. You didn't give her a cross word when the truth came out. You didn't tell her how wrong she was going bulldozer, not to even think about where she was, you want to accuse Lois at a nurse's ball in public. Now, you don't see Tracy going to Laura, telling Laura about the path that Lulu did, the destruction that Lulu caused. Because Lulu's not sorry. She tell everybody, I ain't sorry. I'm sorry for what it did to Gio. Right? So anyway, Chase just looked at her. Chase still don't know what happened with the file. He goes, Tracy, I want you to know there is nothing Brook Lynn can do that's going to make me turn away from her. And I thought, well, heck, Chase, I almost said a bad word, y'all. Heck, Chase, she can maybe put you to the test as soon as you get up to the house. Let's see how much you're going to stand by her with the Rocco situation. Yeah, we shall see. So now we have Portia goes to Curtis. I see you didn't show up at the art exhibit. Trina was looking for you and asked about you all night. No, something came up. I sent her some congratulatory flowers. Well, what could have come up, Curtis, that's more important than your daughter? Oh, I've spent the last few hours being blackmailed by Drew here in my office. And Portia looked, she said, what? Yeah. And there isn't a darn thing, he didn't say darn, but there isn't a darn thing that I could do about it. He has us over a barrel. And he's looking at Portia. So she goes, oh, so see, once again, this is my fault. This is just my fault. Hell yeah, chick, it's your fault. And he said, yes. No, she goes, he says, what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna let Drew just hang you out to dry. I'm gonna do everything in my power to protect you. And she goes, really, Curtis? I wish it was me. Because who you really trying to protect is Trina. You're not trying to protect me. Tell me that's not true. And he looked at her and he goes, okay, fine. I am trying to protect our daughter, Trina. Not you, because you caused this. True. And so she goes, oh, okay, well, you know what? I can't be live up to that perfect standard of yours. Oh, unlike what, Jordan? And he just looked at her like, you know what? I ain't even gonna talk about Jordan. You, right? Oh, she says, she says she's respecting, but she ain't. And she goes, you know what? Don't wait up at home. And Curtis just looked at her like as if I was going home, chick. He's just like, wow, whatever. So Curtis does tell her what Kai did. And she's like, Kai did what? Yeah. She goes, well, when Trina finds out. So anyway, Portia goes to the bar, and it's the doghouse bar, I think it is. And not Vaughn, Isaiah is sitting at the bar. First, Anna says, you know what, can I use you as a cover? She wanted to somehow use Isaiah in a way to get in conversation with Josh and Vaughn, because she saw, not Josh, Emma and Vaughn, because she saw them at a booth, and she goes, you see my granddaughter over there with somebody 10 years her senior? You know, okay, and he goes, yeah. And she goes, no, I need you to, I got to come up with a plan to, get over there and talk to them. Well, Anna decides, forget the plan. I'll be back. So she goes over and she goes, hey, you two. They were just getting ready to leave, actually. Uh, Vaughn says, would you like to go to somewhere quieter? Because he got a glimpse of Anna, probably when she walked in. And Emma says, yeah, I know a place that's close to campus. He goes, let's go. So they're getting ready to go, and Anna comes over. Oh, wait, you two leaving now? She says, yeah, we're getting ready to go somewhere. She goes, no, who's your friend? And she goes, sit down, both of you. So they sit down, and Emma's looking at her. She goes, what's your name, John? Emma's friend? And he goes, Vaughn. And she's thinking, oh, just Vaughn. Okay. And she says, well, Vaughn, I'm commissioner. She didn't even say her name. I'm commissioner. And so she's trying to give them the third degree, and Emma's just kind of looking at her. And Vaughn says, you know what, ladies, listen, excuse me, I need to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. He gets up and he's gone. And Anna is talking to Emma, saying, Emma, what's this with you and this Vaughn? He's way older than you. She says, and we're both adults, grandmother. I could date somebody older than me if I could see somebody way older than me if I want to. I don't have to get consent. And Anna just looks at her. She says, yeah, but see, here's the thing, Emma. Oh, Anna asked him a question. Are you a student at PCU? And Emma says, no, he works there. He's in maintenance. Because Anna may have said, did you go there maybe a decade ago? She was not subtle. You know what, Anna? This is the real world. People of all ages are in college. People are getting their degrees in their 60s, 70s. So, you can't say that just because he's older, he can't be going to PCU. Yes, he can. Absolutely. Actually, you would do good into going to PCU, taking police commissioner 101 there. You'd be good at you need a refresher. So anyway, that's when Vaughn has to go to the bathroom now. And Anna looks at Emma and she goes, you know what? Does he know you're using him? And she said, excuse me, grandma? What are you talking about? you got expelled for breaking in to faculty building. Now you're cozying up to someone who works for faculty, who works for PCU. You're up to something and you're using them. I'm telling you, Emma, that's a dangerous game, right? So Vaughn finally comes back and she goes, I'm sorry, ladies, it took so long. And Anna said, I was beginning to wonder. He goes, there was a line. And she looked at him. She goes, a line in the men's restroom? He's like, I know, go figure. So he goes, Emma, are you ready to leave now? Let's go. And Anna says, no, 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 not so fast. Sit down. And he looks, and then Jocelyn comes in. Oh, okay. See, it's like this. You gonna have to make a choice. And the funny thing is, Anna is looking at this exchange, right? Thinking there's something not right here. Vaughn called in, he called Joss to get over there to give him a cover and save him, right? So Jocelyn said, you're gonna have to choose her or me. Which one is it gonna be? And Vaughn looks at Jocelyn and he looks at Emma and he says, sorry, Emma. And she said, what? He says, I know. She's impulsive. She's petulant. And he said some other words about Jocelyn. He goes, but that's what's alluring about her. So they both walk away over to the wall instead of leaving the place. And they're talking, real close. And Emma's just looking. And Anna is looking at Jocelyn and Vaughn, and she goes, you think those two would be a little more discreet? And Emma's like, no, Jocelyn's trashy that way. And then because they kissing, they really kissing now, right? And Vaughn is like, thank you so much for saving me. She goes, yeah, of course. Uh-huh. Right? She goes, Commissioner Devane is suspicious. He goes, no, we're gonna have to scratch Emma because Devane she's already suspecting. And Emma looked down and guess what she had? She had his master key in her hand. Now, so she picked his pocket. Remember, Emma is an excellent pickpocket, right? My thing is this. Who outside of work walks around with your work keys and it's on a big keychain that says master on it in your pocket and you're off duty? Who does that? He'd have had that at home in his drawer or at home on his dresser or in his car in the middle glove box or in his car in the glove compartment. Come on now, you ain't gonna have that in your pocket and you not on duty and that thing is bulky like that. GH. Come on now, it's GH. So anyway, Emma's gonna break into Dalton's lab. I can already tell you she's gonna do that. Jocelyn probably end up ultimately having to save Emma. Laura, Lulu whines to her mother, Brook Lynn, just for no reason targeted Rocco. Oh, no. And Dante and I wanted to tell him and he's dead. Oh, no. Yeah. That should have came from us. And Lulu did it out of BOQ. I'm saying Lulu. BOQ did it out of spite. Oh, no. And Laura's like, she did what? How is Rocco? Right? And Lulu is saying, he's doubting that his father and I, really love him. He's this, that, and the other. And she says, honey, let me tell you something. This too will pass. He's a teenager. He's got questions now. He's hurt. He's looking for answers. But if it's one thing Rocco knows, once he calms down, and it settles with him. But you and Dante love him. You love him. And he will eventually remember that, if not now. His world has just been shaken, and he's probably not going to look he's probably not going to look at things with the same lens he ever did before. Okay. I'm surprised Laura didn't say, why didn't you guys tell him? Laura always does tough love. She should have said, see, when I told you not to open up this Pandora's box with Brooklyn, you did it anyway. But her mother wanted to be more of a nurturing. You're a good mother, Lulu. You're a good mother. So Laura was waiting out on the porch. Lulu was gonna bring her some iced tea. But Rocco comes out and he's like, oh, grandmother, you're here. She says, yes, I am. Come sit down, honey. She goes, boy, you've had, from what I understand, kind of emotional couple of days. And Laura talks to him, and I'm telling you, listening to Laura talk to Rocco, do you know, I felt better. You know, I'm thinking, okay, and that was a good talk. Huh. And she was just telling him, because she goes, what are you wrestling with the most? He goes, what I'm wrestling the most with is I was stolen. And Britt Westbourne gave birth to me. But grandma, what if she hadn't stolen me and she hadn't implanted herself? I may not be here. I mean, did she goes, Rocco, you were wanted. He goes, they didn't want me right then. She goes, honey, that's not true. You were definitely wanted. He goes, no, they found out later that me, Britt Westbourne's child is theirs, so they got thrown into it and they took me. And Laura says, that can't be further from the truth, honey. She goes, they agonized over not being able to have a child. They went through a lot of setbacks, a lot of tears. But if it's one thing your mother and father knew, is they knew they wanted a child, Rocco. Britt just stole the egg they were going to use for the next procedure for a surrogate. Because, Rocco still don't know his mother can't have kids, but whatever. She'll tell him at some point. I mean, that's minor, right? And he just looked at her. She says, I want you to know that with your whole heart, that you were the mission. The mission was to have a child. And he goes, okay, thank you. And she says, and the love you felt from them, Rocco, oh, that's real love. Your parents love you, and they've always loved you, honey. And he's like, yeah, okay, okay. She says, you know what? She says, you ask questions, okay? Don't be afraid. And Lulu's eavesdropping at the door. She goes, don't be afraid to ask all the questions you want to ask, okay? And you keep asking them until you feel satisfied. And he goes, thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you. And he got up and they hugged each other. And I thought, now that was a good call. That was a good talk. Good grandma talk. Good job, Laura. You know? So Rocco goes up to his room and guess what he does? He now composes an email. I guess he got Dr. Obert's email address. And the email says, you may not know me. I don't wait. it's hard to say. And I don't remember meeting you, but I used to be your grandson. That's how that starts. If I had it bigger, I could have read that better. But anyway, he's going to reach out to Obrecht. So I guess this is how the whole thing is going to snowball into what it's going to snowball into. Rocco's the one that's getting that ball rolling. Good. I want to see how they're going to do that. Now we have, last but not least, Trina. Ooh, yeah. Trina reams Kai like Kai deserved to be reamed. As he's standing there saying, look, it was the right thing to do, Trina. She goes, Kai. He goes, I could not stand by and let an innocent man be framed. And Trina says, you know, Kai, the problem is, and we talked about this, you don't know the whole situation. You're talking about an innocent man. You don't know the things that Drew Kane has done. For you to even form an opinion on if he's innocent or not. But you decided to go off of this one thing that we talked about. And you said, he goes, no, I mean, I'm loyal to what's right. You know, she goes, I'm loyal to Congressman Kane. I couldn't just let him actually accuse Tracy Quartermain publicly, and she didn't do it. And you know, but see, here's the thing. Kai doesn't know about Portia and Nina are the actual culprits, right? He didn't know Tracy was innocent at all. He was standing right there with Congressman Kane and his loyalty. The only thing he feels he knows is Drew did not take the drug willingly, which, okay, he's right, it's true. And so she goes, you know what? While you were showing all of that loyalty, because he goes, look what he's done for me. And Trina just looked at him thinking, what have I done for you? I've been the one by your side the whole time, right? Trina looked at him, she says, you all about loyalty. She said, it is too bad you couldn't have shown some of that same loyalty to me or my family. And he looked at her. He goes, Trina, I mean, look, I did what I thought was right. I mean, would you want to be with a guy that looked the other way and let that happen? And she looked at him. She says, let me tell you something, Kai, my family will always come first and protecting them. She says, now, one thing you have shown is you are not my family. So no, you don't come first. He goes, but Trina, what is that? She goes, what that means is get out of my sight. She's like, get out of here. And he goes, huh? I guess he thought he was going to be able to keep his hands clasped like Drew and say, oh, you know, this was the right thing to do. It's okay. And I guess he thought she was going to be Willow and say, okay, Kai, well, I guess you had to do what was right. So she boots him out that gallery. And after he leaves, of course, she sits down crying on the doggone bench. But you know what? She stuck to her guns there. And hello. So now Drew calls Michael and he tells Michael, you know, what Drew blackmailed him to do. And he goes, I can't find a way to get from under this man's thumb. And Michael said, are you talking about, are you giving up? Or are you talking about just, and he goes, look, I want to make sure you see what's getting ready to hit all Aurora media outlets. And he showed them the article. And it's just, did Sonny Corinthos have, whatever, it's, tabloid, which is what Aurora does not do, which is interesting to me. And so Michael looked at Drew. He goes, Drew, I told you to protect your family at all costs. This is what it is. He says, but there is a way to beat Drew. We just haven't come up with it yet. Don't give up. He goes, now, I have to leave and go and protect my family. I have got to go tell my father that this headline is coming out in the morning. And Michael gets up and he walks out, and Drew says, Michael, I'm sorry. And he goes, Curtis, you protect your family. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? But why? Portia did this. See, I'm sorry. Portia did this. And you're talking about protecting Trina. Just tell Trina what her mother did. Both of you sit her down, because you're racking up crime after crime. Now, doing the article, it's not a crime. He actually never did pay Jacinda to lie. That's not, so he hasn't, Curtis has, as of yet, has not committed a crime. Keep it that way, Curtis. Drew actually saved you from committing a crime. And what they're saying is, no, Drew paid her to disappear. That's what really happened. I'm thinking, did it really? Because I guess, yeah, I mean, if she came back and ratted out Portia and Nina, she's still an accomplice to what they did. She was the one that actually did the drugging. So she would be implicated and getting herself into trouble. So there's nothing in it for her to come back and do that. Now, if Drew's giving her more money than Nina gave her, fine. Where you want me? I'm out. Peace out. Right? I'm in Belize. you know? So anyway, that was it, everybody. That is all that happened. Nothing earth-shattering today. Let's go to comment corner. Ooh, we had like a ton of comments, 100 and whatever it was. I'm going to scroll down because it's the middle down, y'all. It's the middle down. And here we go. I stopped right here. It says, this comment, middle down is like 14 hours ago. It's looking like Sly says, Cody spilled the drink on Elizabeth on purpose. Surprisingly, Cody played Rick and Ava perfectly. He used Elizabeth to distract Rick from Ava. Oh, I forgot to do my trusty dusty stopwatch, everybody. Oh my goodness. Here we go. To distract Rick from Ava, Ava got jealous of Elizabeth and got into an argument with Rick. But I was surprised to see that Rick was jealous of Ava flirting with Cody. I am says Spinelli needs to come back on Sonny's payroll. Yes, he does. And Jason, I don't know why he can't remember Spinelli. Wendy says Sonny needs Spinelli because Sidwell is miles ahead. I'm talking about miles ahead. And Melody says for sure he needs to be looking for the new rare earth minerals distributor. Yeah, he should be doing that for his wife. Maxie should have put her husband on that a long time ago. See, this is stupidity. Alicia says, I'm glad Sasha's leaving, baby or no baby. Black Purple Turquoise says, Sasha most likely is not going anywhere. I feel as Willow will do something right as Sasha's supposed to leave, and then she comes to take Daisy. I still haven't actually got confirmation yet that Sophia Matson is leaving General Hospital. And even if she does, just like they did with Michael, they can always bring in a recast to continue playing her, though I'd miss her in the role the most. She was always one of my favorite characters. If anyone needs to be going, it's Drew and Willow, and Sasha and Daisy can stay. I'm with you on that, Black Purple Turquoise. They should be dropped to reoccurring status like TJ and apparently Cody. and come be brought back occasionally, even just to cause trouble, as villainous as they truly are. Yeah, I could see him dropping down. I want to see Willow. Alicia says, so Sonny is supposed to just sit around and wait for Sidro. Okay, Carly. Alicia also says, Ava switched. Oh, now we get into this. You guys did bring back my memories. Ava switched the meds because she didn't want Morgan going back to Kiki. I think you're right. That's exactly what happened. Kiki was thinking of going back to Morgan, and Ava was saying, no, he's erratic, he's violent, he's not good for you, because she wanted Morgan for herself. Now, another bit of trivia. Morgan had been gone to boarding school, right? When did we see Morgan back as an adult, everybody? When did we see Morgan back as an adult? It was with Kiki and Ava. That's when Star from One Life to Live was playing Kiki. Remember, Morgan was her boyfriend, and they were both fleecing people at cards. And Ava would be in her little negligee night, trying to be like she's Kiki's best friend. And I'm thinking, why is she walking around Kiki's friends? They playing cards dressed like that. That was sleazy Ava. That was our introduction. And then they came to Port Charles, and Morgan already lived there. He was just being Morgan and doing his own thing. And that was the introduction to Kiki and Ava into town. Now, if anybody remembers anything different, let me know, but that was it. And then I.M. says a close adoption doesn't mean they never go back and look for the child. Its purpose is to give the adoption a fair chance of bonding and stability. An open adoption is the same. People that put their children up for adoption want them to be fully transitioned into families. Many are taught that they were unwanted by others. The truth is they were chosen blessings. That is true. Gio has fallen into the stereotype, and he needs to defend Lulu's action is ridiculous, or his need to defend Lulu's action is ridiculous. Lulu's a big hypocrite, and I'm with you on that. Lulu doesn't tell 16-year-old Brooklyn, Lois doesn't tell 16-year-old Brooklyn that they could have worked it out. Instead, she went to her grandmother and they made a plan. Lois didn't tell Ned, which was wrong. Lulu was never honestly told how she found out about Gio. She broke the law, and she should be held accountable, but she's not going to be. Laura's not going to tell Martin. Martin would never do anything because he's living with his sister. Come on now. Let's see. Let me scroll down a bit. We have I Am says the actor Cameron Matthews seems to be playing out a midlife crisis. You mean Cameron Matheson? He's a predator. Did I miss Selena telling Sonny that Sidwell did to her by using her man and burning Charlie's? No, Selena just skipped town, which was cowardice, and she would never do that. Ava wanted to break up Kiki and Morgan. Her jealousy of Kiki and her boyfriend was crazy. And then Blueberry Sherry says, Cody cracks me up lately. He's better outside the stables. And then Wendy says he's a cutie too. And then we have DB says, is a nanny cam going to bring Michael flashbacks? Why isn't the situation number one? As for Kai, he can go. Then it's back to long-suffering Trina. Her and her mother shaking my head. Since there is nobody for Jordan or Curtis, they may as well get back together. And they will, since Doc Isaiah is waiting in the wings. Yeah, him and Portia. Portia seemed like I can tell exactly what she's gonna do. She's gonna sleep with Isaiah and then tell Curtis it didn't happen, or she ain't gonna mention it, and then it's gonna come out. And I didn't tell you because see, it'll be yet another lie. Uh Gara says when Gio called Sonny grandpa, uh like that, I cringed because it sounded forced. And then we have she started laughing. That is it, everybody. I'm at 7 minutes for Comment Corner. Everybody go on and read the rest of those comments. You guys do a phenomenal, phenomenal job. And once again, everyone, I'm telling you right now, congratulations on 5,000 subscribers. I will be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.